yellow.
Yes, we are. How are you? Did I speak to you on the Bridgerton junket?
You did not. And listen, I am a Bridgerton expert.
Okay, come on, bring it to me.
So I have no idea why I haven't spoken to you or anybody else, but I'm sure that for season 3, we'll have a great conversation.
Yeah, great.
So great to meet you. I've been watching you forever for 2 whole seasons.
Oh, thank you.
So I think that we should definitely start at the beginning. Actually, this morning, I watched the first episode of Queen Charlotte.
Okay.
And I was like flipping on the bed. I don't want to spoil this for anybody, but everybody has to watch because this is the beginning of the love story between you and King George.
Yeah.
So what is this spin-off about?
It is about this character called Queen Charlotte that we know and love from Bridgerton. It's about how she became the character that we know and love in Bridgerton. It's a deep dive into the personal. It's a deep dive into vulnerability, of family, of love, of friendship. And I think it asks the questions, or answers the questions, I should say, from Bridgerton. The whys, the hows, the whens, the wheres. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to see it. It's a different take on the story that we already know and love.
I think what I love most about your character is the fact that the Queen Charlotte that we see in Bridgerton is an absolute matriarch. She is a strong, empowered, decisive woman.
Yeah.
That I think that many women today can relate to.
Yeah.
So this spinoff is the explanation of why you become this incredibly strong and powerful queen.
Exactly. And I also think that it gives that insight to the human side of Charlotte and the human side of a relationship between a mother and her children. You know, for example, the relationship between a friend, a queen, of duty, of ceremony, and her confidant, Brimsley.
Of course.
You know, there's an intimate look into their relationship. So there's lots of layers that we know, but the doors are being opened, aren't they, in Queen Charlotte? And we can kind of have a look into the rooms.
Exactly. I remember the second season of Bridgerton, that scene where Queen Charlotte talks to, you know, little Miss Sharma and talks to her about life and love. Yeah. And that ends up being the reason why she decides not to marry my darling.
Not to marry.
Darling, lovely Anthony. And so was that like the turning point where Shonda Rhimes, the, you know, extraordinary producer of Bridgerton, or the whole team decided Queen Charlotte needs to have her own show?
Yeah, I don't know whether there was a specific moment. I mean, that's a great moment to say, oh, there's something else here that we can pursue. I don't know. I think, you know, I think it's an ode to Ted Santos's mother-in-law, who was very keen to know more about Charlotte. So we dedicate this extraordinary experience to her. But I think, you know, what we've created as a company, as a producing house in Shonda Rhimes, in Shondaland, I should say, and the cast and me creating the character, I think it really, you know, and then we have to say it's a fan favorite. She's a fan favorite. And those people out there who are rooting for this character to deep dive then into her life, I think was, a really great decision to make.
And how were you told? Guess what, Golda?
I got a very strange email saying,
it was an email, not even a phone call.
No, it was, well, the email said, be available at about 3:30 this afternoon. Here is a Zoom link. I was like, okay, fine. And then the Zoom link was the talk with Shonda.
Oh, so Shonda broke the news.
Yeah.
I want to know how she said it.
We're really interested in doing a spin-off of Queen Charlotte. I mean, it was literally as plain as that.
Flat out.
Yeah. And it's like, right, okay. It was a pinch me moment. It was one of those moments where you're like, am I alive? Am I breathing? Yeah, is this real?
Do you think, most definitely, I would say, but do you think that one of the reasons Bridgerton, and specifically Queen Charlotte as a character, were so powerful, being it a period series? I'm in love with period series. Like I can't help myself. I can't stop. Like that's the only thing I want to see, to my husband's dismay. But do you think that it's the inclusion and the diversity and how important it is today to not only talk about it, but to show it as part of our everyday life in the century we're living in?
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't it fascinating and wonderful to show it in a period drama?
Of course. And you see the
a genre that is, no, absolutely. A genre that has been otherwise non-accessible. Do you know what I mean? To people of color, to diversity, to inclusion, to have it be spoken, to have the storytelling be told in a period drama, I think is genius. Whether it was a definite, this is what we're going to do, or a happy mistake, whatever it is, I think to discuss those difficult conversations, to discuss those difficult topics of representation, inclusion, diversity, all of that kind of stuff, sexuality, all of it within, this wonderful fantasy, romance, glitz, glamour, gossip, society, to have it discussed in that way, I think makes it even more accessible for people to discuss. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And to move the conversation forward. Because although it is a period drama, it is done with such a modern sensibility.
Yes. I mean, just starting with the fact that, the majority of the music, at least what I saw in season 2, was actually a remake of, classical modern pop version songs, which was very telling of what
you have Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. And I think that particular piece of music comes at a particular point where you're going, yes, this is a wrecking ball. This is, it's like so poignant, isn't it? The metaphor is so huge.
Of course. And I think it's so brilliant because literally, Golda, I've watched Bridgerton season 1 like 3 times.
Amazing.
But Bridgerton season 2, I've watched it like 8 different times. I can even say the script by heart. But one thing that I always ask myself is, what sort of relationship and how did that happen between Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury? How long back does that come from? What was the story behind that? Which is why I think that the decision of making a spinoff was so brilliant, because in this new season,
you see it.
Of course, in the first episode, now I see where it's going and how it all started.
Yeah. I mean, I describe it as behind the scenes of Bridgerton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Yeah, all of that is explained to you in such a wonderful way by Shonda Rhimes.
Well, I can't wait to see the rest. Now, I cannot let you go without talking about, I mean, the masterpieces.
Yeah.
The wigs, wigs.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine you thinking day one, oh, it's okay, I'll just carry the wig. Then what was Golda thinking day 200 with, I don't know how heavy they are, but like, 13 pounds on your head?
Yeah, exactly. And we have a record-breaking wig in Queen Charlotte. Okay. I don't know whether you've seen the episode where she goes to the opera house.
No, not yet. Not yet. Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, I won't spoil it. But yes, what I am wearing on my head is quite extraordinary. And that wig definitely broke the record for the heaviest wig. But it's an honor. The designers, the makers of these things, the costumes and the wigs are such incredible artists.
How long is the process? How long is the process?
It takes me about 2.5 hours from beginning to creation.
And how heavy is the wig?
Heavy.
Heavy. Very heavy.
Do you know that's heavy as the head that wears the crown?
Well, Golda, let me tell you something. We are so excited to see you back, to know your full story.
Thank you.
On this show and everything we do, it's all about women's empowerment.
Yeah.
And I think the opportunity of seeing Queen Charlotte in another era under very different circumstances, at the end, it's what a lot of women live today. The challenges, the children, the husband, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I think if we can, inspire, shift, create discussion in our modern world through something like Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, that's all for the good.
That's all for the good. Well, can't wait to see it. We are launching May 4th. So I'm sure everybody is ready to sit down with some popcorn and see the roll. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
It's a pleasure.
And of course, as soon as Bridgerton season 3 launches, I hope I'll see you again.
We'll be back talking. Yeah.
Back talking. Thank you, Golda. Have a great day.
Most welcome. You too.